Okay, I've been actually going through the trends, some of the things going on. Society is becoming very, very challenging, especially in the area of marriages. You see a lot of marriages breaking up, children are suffering, they're going into depression, and all sorts of evil going on in the home front, which affects the family. And so that brings me to talking about polygamy today, because it's one of the major causes of the evil, of the challenges that you're having in marriages today. Polygamy, most of us are familiar with the word polygamy. There are various types of polygamy. When you break it down, you have the polygyny, which is a type of polygamy, which means a man having more than one wife. The general polygamy is someone having more than one spouse. So it can either be male or female. So when you break it down into the various types, you now have polygyny, which is a man having more than one wife, which is the most common one that you see everywhere. Then you also have polyandry, where you have a woman having more than one husband. There are several of them, but not as much as you would have as polygyny. Then you also have the group marriage, where you have several of them coming together for different spouses. So what made me to talk about this is some of the effects. But before I talk about the impact it may have on people, I want us to know what the Bible says about polygamy. What is the Bible's stand about polygamy? We must know that polygamy is not God's creational law. It wasn't part of God's creation, because Genesis 2:24 tells us that when a man is of age, he will leave his father and his mother, and he will cleave to his wife, and they will be one flesh, meaning just one spouse, just one husband and one wife. So that informs us that God did not originally create polygamy to be part of the marriage relationship. But you see a lot of them going into it, and some can even refer to the Bible. Some can refer to people like David, people like Solomon. They can even tell you, oh, David killed another man and took over his wife. But I want you to know that is God's permissive will. It wasn't that it was in the perfect will of God by killing a man and taking over his wife. Lamech in Genesis, in the book of Genesis, was the first polygamist. But if you also look at him, you will discover that most of these people didn't end well, especially people like Solomon. He didn't end well in his adventure as a polygamist. And you see it happening everywhere. It's becoming the trend. But even the bad thing with the polygamy that most people now practice in this era, which is this so-called 21st century or whatever, the Gen Z and all other area, you find out that most of them may not actually outrightly go out to settle for polygamy or polygyny, because in most cases it's men that you find getting involved with polygamy, which is polygyny, an aspect of polygamy. So they may not outrightly go pay dowry. What they will now do is to have several of them, which was Solomon's style, concubines. He had several wives and he had several concubines. And so in this era, you find a lot of them having one wife, and they have a lot of concubines that people now call side chicks. So they are almost making the side chicks legal. At the end of the day, some may not go out to be a full polygamy, so to speak, but in a nutshell, they are still practicing polygamy. So, in a nutshell, what am I trying to say about this polygamy? One, God actually is not in support of it because that was not his original plan for marriage. His original plan for marriage was one man, one wife. A man is of age, he will cleave to his wife, and they will be together as one flesh. Even at creation, when he created Adam and he created Eve, he did create only Eve for Adam. So that is the foundation and the stand of the Bible concerning polygamy. Though some other religion may allow polygamy, like Islam, they say that their religion allows them to marry up to 4 wives. But in marrying up to 4 wives, there are conditions to marrying those 4 wives. You must be able to treat all of them equally. Maybe for also sexual gratification. It's causing a lot of issues. That's why I'm talking about lives have been damaged, children have been destroyed. Polygamy is as bad as the Third World War. People lose their lives. Depression, excessive anger,